Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. This platform was built by Sparkies for Sparkies. We simply exist to make business owners more profitable, or businesses more profitable and more predictable. So we want to work with people that work hard because we love working hard too, that work smart because you got to be on top of the business, people that are kind because no one likes a dickhead. Am I right? People who want results because that's what we're here for, right? And people who want to be part of a like-minded community. So if you're interested in hearing more about the platform, please reach out and enjoy the podcast.
Welcome to the Sparky Coach podcast. You've got Cam here again, diving into a little bit more around job management software. A bit of a follow-on, bit of a theme happening here, and wanted to dive into and have a discussion around some struggles that people generally come across with job management software and how it can be a little bit of a hindrance, obviously, on the business, but also on progressing with the job management software. So a few points here I want to touch on, but I just want to use this to highlight that you're probably not alone in feeling like this with your job management software here. And also too, I want to go into more detail around ways to counteract this so that you can get the most out of your job management software and get your business cranking in the right direction. Now, first common sort of struggles that we generally come across or find, and this is from having discussions with members, having discussions with people who use job management software in the industry, that we find that hey, I'm just having a few problems here and there. Now, first and foremost, the biggest issue I generally come across or generally we see or hear is, hey, we're just not utilizing it to its ability. Now, I sort of want to park the bus there to begin with around utilizing it to its ability, because I think we need to put an asterisk against that and be like, hey, how do we need to use the job management software to best suit our business size, current stage, what we're looking to get out of it? Now, I think that's really important to understand, because with some of the job management software, you can go, whoa, like just down a massive hole, a massive long road of keeping adding to it or altering it or adjusting it. But I want to peel this back to begin with and find out, hey, what are the actual things that you need to begin with to really make sure that your job management software is being utilized to the best of its potential for you. So, first and foremost, I think there's an element of mindset associated with it that there needs to be an embracement. All right, let's embrace this job management because it's going to make things better. And I can categorically state that it will make your life better and it will make your business better. But there needs to be an embracement around using the basics or using the most important features, tools, applications, however you want to describe it, the most important parts of the job management software that are going to suit your business for this particular point in time. So you can't be resistant to change. You need to really embrace it. And then if you have staff as well, you need to get your staff on board to be embracing it, to be able to get the most out of it. Now, there's two parts to it. There's going to be the desktop platform, and then there's going to be the app platform. Now, you need to embrace both and utilize them to the best potential that you need them for your business, and you will begin to get the required results out of it. Now, the whole purpose of job management software is to make your life easier as a business owner. Now, so first and foremost, I really want to encourage you to understand that it's a collaborative effort. So if you've got team members or other staff members associated with the business, that it's going to be an embracement by all and a collective team effort to get the most out of it. Because what I don't want to see happening, and what I don't think you want to see happening as a business owner, is, hey, we're getting half pieces of information, or I'm having to go home and do certain bits and pieces of information in the admin sense because it wasn't done on site, or it's not set up to be able to be done on site. So probably really, really encourage you to have the mindset around, hey, we need to embrace it and identify what's the most important things for you to get done with your business. So, getting set up, right? So, let's go back to the setup part associated with it. Now, let's not overcomplicate the setup, right? Let's not create all these custom fields, all these cost centers, all these automations, all these rules, all these fancy integrations, or beautiful looking templates and things like that. Let's just get the basics sorted to begin with, right? So I want to have a look here and identify what I feel the basics are associated with getting it set up. So ultimately, I think you want to get job inquiry quote inserted here. You want to have the inquiry to be able to be entered into your job management system. Then you want to be able to easily quote the job in a sense of, hey, we have supply integration, right? Then we want to be able to send that out, easily schedule, then utilize the app in the field for the technicians, and then invoice out the job. Really, really simple linear process. So we've got the job coming in, inquiry coming in for a quote. We've got our integration with our suppliers. We have the ability to schedule. Our field technicians utilize the app to be able to enter that information. Then we're able to invoice it out. So let's look at that linear basic to let's get it started. Yes, 100%, we can build from it and we can build out beautiful, wonderful other parts to the job management software. But at its core, we want job quote coming in, ease of actioning that job or quote. So in regards to the supplier integration, do we need to get parts come in? Do we need to place purchase orders? Do we want the do we want to be able to send it from the field? Yeah, we do. We want the supplier integration. Then we want to be able to schedule with ease, and then we want to be able to send out an invoice to the client really easily. The other thing here, part of the setup, is we want to make sure that we integrate our job management software with our accounting software. We do not, under any circumstances, want to be double handling data. And I'll dive into this again around the doubling data side of things. This is where our supply integration becomes so important. We don't want to be double handling the purchase order or supplier material creation or ordering, however you want to describe it, however you want to use it. We don't want to be double handling that part of it to then have to enter it in manually when it can happen automatically on the back end. So really, really important to understand, hey, what are the basic fundamental principles that we can get away from double handling data entry or information from the get-go, righto? Because this will it will definitely alleviate the issues we have probably currently with inaccuracies on jobs or quotes through missed materials, missed notes, missed information around it, or poor costings overall. So we don't want to overcomplicate the setup. We want to have a look at how we can do the data entry, so we avoid the double data entry. And then we want to also look at the embracement of change. So we want to make sure that we're embracing it, like I said before. So having a look at, and I think this is something we can ask ourselves, how is our job management system set up now? And how are we utilizing it? Now, if I dive into those few areas here around quotes, jobs, supply integration, then we have a look at the scheduling, then we have a look at the invoicing side of things. So first and foremost, the job and quote information. I feel you need to have a blanket rule and you need to act on it immediately that any inquiry that's coming in needs to be entered into our job management system. Quote or job, right? Non-negotiable. It cannot be started. A job cannot be started without having a job creation. And then obviously also it's impossible to send a quote without having the quote set up. So I think that's less of a problem. But from a get-go, you want your job set up so that then before you start the job, it's set up, it's been scheduled. If there's any material that needs to be ordered, it can be assigned to it. Because what happens is if you do the job before it's being created, you set yourself up for, I guess, a double handling or an administration nightmare, I'm just going to say. Because you're going to be backtracking and figuring out what's going on and what's happening. So blanket rule, cannot do a job, cannot start a job, cannot start a quote without it being created, right? Yes, you can then have a look at, hey, is there ways that we can automatically, through our lead generation or through the way that we get the information from our clients, could be through inquiry forms, emails, text messages, etc. Whatever it is, right? We can cross that bridge when it comes. Yes, it's all capable of being pushed through, but to begin with, as a whole, just get it in there, right? Just needs to be entered in there. There is nothing stopping you from creating jobs or quotes in the field on the app either, right? So that's not an excuse. I'll wait till I get to my desktop. I think if you have I guess, a mindset and also to a blanket rule and an encouragement across the team to be like, hey, it needs to be done on site. It has to be done on site. Job notes have to be done on site. If there's additional work, additional jobs, they have to be created on site. That way it gets banged straight in the system and we can enter the data onto it. So you're not sending an email of like, oh, hey, here's the information from this job. It's, hey, we've got a reference here, quote number 1234, job number 1234, the information gets assigned to it. So when you go into the job management software, you're looking at it. Bang, all the information is there. You're not trying to drag in an email. You're not trying to drag in a text message. You're not trying to drag in something. It's all there, so you filled it out on site. So really important that the job and quotes get sorted. Supplier integration. Now, this is a massive, massive part of the job management system. So what I mean by supplier integration, super important. It means that your supplier, where possible, has an integration with the job management system that you use. And I'm going to say majority of the main suppliers, so main electrical wholesalers, have an integration with the majority of the job management softwares out there. Now, the integration works on a number of fronts. It gets a catalog into your system. So into your job management system, you have a catalog of materials that you're able to utilize to be able to quote works or assign materials in a code sense or part number sense that the electrical wholesalers deal with, and it has the pricing. Now, depending on how your job management set up, that can be live as well. So it's live, accurate, gets updated frequently. Why is that important, you ask? Gives you up-to-date, accurate pricing so you don't have to cross-check it all the time. Secondly, the beauty of supplier integration and supplier setup is the purchasing of materials with purchase orders out of your job management system. You create a purchase order that is associated with a particular job that goes out to your supplier. They supply that material to you. That purchase order then comes back into your job management software on a back end and assigns itself with the number that you've associated with it. So let's just call it purchase order 2000. It will come in on the back end, and then that material will end up on your job already. So you don't have to manually enter it in. It just gets assigned to it, and then that purchase order is then closed out. That purchase order is receipted, so the supplier invoice is associated with that, and then it gets pushed across to your job management software. If there is something on back order or something not correct or outstanding on that particular purchase order, it will stay open and not be closed out and won't be pushed across until it gets the material is supplied, or you go in and have to manually check over it. So most common sort of issues that you find with that is that, hey, we ordered a material with one particular purchase order number or part number, and material identification, I guess, is either, and it's been supplied as a different or alternative or slightly different part number. Sometimes it could be a dash, a slash, or a dot, right? Be closed out, and that gets pushed across. So you've removed an administration task by simply integrating and syncing your suppliers with your job management software. It is amazing and saves so much time and streamlines so much of your process. Because if you got at the job, you can, hey, this job has $1,000 of materials assigned to it. Did we use it? Yes, we did. Right. So really, really important around the, I guess, syncing of your suppliers with your job management software. Cannot stress that enough to utilize it. And then on top of that, utilize your purchase orders. So you're not looking at your suppliers and being like, hey, what invoice does this belong to what job? I can categorically state the sooner you start using purchase orders for every single piece of material that you purchase, Even if it's a packet of 10 bolts, 5 bolts, 3 bolts from a particular supplier, assign a purchase order to it. You will never be left in the dark of where that material is meant to be associated with. It gives you more control and a more understanding of, hey, where our material is going. It also gives you the ability to be like, hey, if there's no purchase order, you can't purchase from that supplier. Now, some of you suppliers, yes, are not going to have supplier integration, fully aware of that and fully understand that, but it still gives you the ability to be able to flag the purchase orders that are open, so making sure that material gets assigned to that particular job. Now, massive bugbear of mine, people who don't utilize that to its full potential, because it will literally save you hours and hours and hours of administration time, and will ensure that you are invoicing correctly, so you've got all the materials on the job, so you can get proper and accurate understanding of costs associated with the job, but also secondly ensures that you can invoice the job out correctly to your suppliers. Now, next step along the way is the scheduling side of things. Now, scheduling, again, massive part of job management software that I feel is extremely underutilized. Now, you've got, let's call it 2 staff, 3 staff, 4 staff. All of your staff should be scheduled for the job that they are on for that particular day or that particular week, right? I cannot stress that enough. What this will do is it will give you, it's a multi-pronged attack, right? So first and foremost, it takes away an additional communication line to be like, hey, this is where you are, because they have access to on the app. Some of your job management softwares will sync with a calendar as well. So like a Google Calendar and Outlook Calendar. So even if they don't have direct access to the app as such, it gives them the ability. So examples would be apprentices or subcontractors, that you can sync it with their calendar so they can look at their calendar and know exactly where they are, right? That's a side note we can look at and delve into further on. But at a minimum, you're scheduling everyone into the days that they're assigned to their particular job. Now, what happens from here is it gives the ability from the app on site, so the mobile app that the team's using out in the field, it gives them the ability to clock on and clock off of the job, gives you the ability to add notes, add information, assign material, complete job cards, adjust the time they were on site and not on site. It gives a full, accurate indication of where they were on the job and how long for, and what they were doing. Now, why I think this is so important is because, again, it removes an administration task from you to be like, where were we last Monday? I can't remember where they were, right? It gives you the ability to look back on Monday and be like, hey, these are the 5 jobs we did on Monday. This is how long they were there for. Where this also then leads to is it gives you the ability to have accurate information around how much time you spent on the job, when you were there, right? So then in turn, again, like with the material, it gives you the ability to be able to invoice accurately, report accurately. So, if it's a quota job, how much time were we there for? How much time was quoted for? Hey, is it accurate? Are we in? Are we out? Gives you the ability to be able to have an understanding, where was the team for the week? How many hours did they do for the week? Did they get their whole time in? Where were we? What's our labor productivity looking like? Gives you the ability to get that information out there. And I cannot stress enough the, administration load it will also take off your shoulders in regards to the ability to put the information in there in the schedule, and then the technicians can take the responsibility from there. So really strongly encourage, if you haven't got that set up yet, have a look into it and figure it out and understanding it, right? Then lastly is the invoicing side of things, right? So really basic setup requirements. It literally gives you the ability to be invoicing out the job faster. You've got an understanding of what the job was. You've got the material assigned to it. You've got the schedule. So you've got, how much material was there, how much labor was there. So you're able to accurately invoice the job out, and you're able to accurately invoice it out in a speedy turnaround time, right? So strongly encourage you to have a look at, hey, let's not overcomplicate the setup. Let's embrace our job management software and look at getting the basics right. I can guarantee if you get those that like little section of, hey, the job quote setup, your supplier integration and purchase orders, the scheduling, and I think scheduling is key to it all. Then in turn, the ability to invoice it out. You'd be surprised to be like, hey, this is really, really starting to crank as a business. I just want to finish on with the schedule. You should be looking at your schedule every week, looking at your team in a week sense or a day sense, and being able to tell exactly where your team was from what times. So they start and finish on every job, and then looking at, hey, how can we tighten this up? What information do we need to increase to be better, and how can we make this more effective? So again, like always, there'll be a little bit more in this series around job management. If this is ringing any alarm bells or pulling up any emotions, again, happy to have a chat about it, send a message, reach out, because I really want to get everyone cranking in their job management software and embrace it. Hey, what are the changes that I need to make? What are the most simple, basic things that I can pare back to make my job management as beneficial as possible? So don't look at it as a struggle. Look at it as, how do I make this better? Thanks for listening, and catch you soon.
That's a wrap on another podcast. Whatever you're doing, don't be too busy to stop and check if you're making money. And above all else, you know the rules, be kind. See you soon.